Now, I'm calling this piece Utterly Futile because that pretty much sums it up. In fact, I first called it This List is a Pyre of Dead Desires. That is to say, the truth is, I don't expect any of them to bear fruit, um, as you'll probably come to understand as I get through. There are 10 of them. The first one, before I pop my clogs, I would love to sanctify my atheism by, at best, fisting a pope, or at the very least be filmed in flagrante rimming a bishop and have it put on YouTube. That would be a silver lining on a rather cloudy life. Number two is a bit shitty, as number two often is, and unfortunately it concerns my American friends. Anyway, the desire is to have Americanophrenia. I'll say that word again. Americanophrenia, I invented the word. Americanophrenia declared a sectionable condition of recidivist ignorance and bigotry. An illness, highly contagious, spittle-borne, incurable, leading to death following bouts of violent delusion so severe that innocent bystanders, even in the USA, have been known to be mutilated for not being sufficiently patriotic. One major symptom, you may have seen this in certain American states, is the unswerving belief, often arrogantly voiced, that there is nothing better existing outside this incredible nation's borders. Well, be warned. If such toss-spots are in fact spotted, then escape ASAP by any discreet means possible. It's always the best way. My third desire would be to be significantly published for art first and for profit second, or maybe third. I'm not a great fan of chapbooks, so all you chaps with chapbooks, forgive me for that, but I'm talking about real publishing here. The fourth desire is a bit sexy. I'd quite like to be spit roasted at the Ritz in London by Brad Pitt and Robert Downey Jr. That would be rather nice. But I'd give even that up for 24 hours of hot sex with the wonderful and utterly delicious Ray Winston. My fifth desire would be to hear the news, once and for all, that all religions who practice any form of genital mutilation as a rite of passage have actually universally renounced such things as being deeply sickening in the eyes of their Almighty, their Allah, their who knows what. God goes by so many different names these days. My sixth desire would be, and I can't see this happening, to be honest, to have everyone who has intentionally and unreasonably caused me pain, physically and emotionally, for whatever reason, to have the humanitarian guts to stand up and admit to it publicly and in print. You know who you are, and you know that you haven't got the courage to make it happen, so fuck you. My seventh desire is a bit Buddhist in a way. I would like to have all forms of advertising and weather information banned from all types of media except teletext. Teletext for techie, nerdy people. Or restricted and specifically designated websites or radio stations, again for techie types and nerdy people. This is because I hate the way capitalist consumerism targets certain groups with certain products, and To be perfectly honest, in the whole of my life, I have never bought one thing as a result of reading or watching any advertising. And as for the weather, I live in the United Kingdom, for God's sake, and you never know what the weather's going to do. You could go out when it's sunny and you could be drenched within half an hour. So what is the point of weather information? They even got the massive gale completely wrong. But we won't dwell on that. Anyway, they spend lots of money on TV programs about weather. And you get it again, the local weather. And it's just weathering. My 8th desire would be to run the most fabulous and sanitary flexi-sexual brothel in the world. That's because I champion sexual freedom. I think people should be able to buy what they want in very good surroundings, relatively safe, and have a bloody good time. Every kind of variety. Only the very worst sorts kept at bay. Even I draw the line at certain things. Number 9 in my list of desires that won't happen is for all people labels to be universally shunned as socially irrelevant and totally inconsequential. I hate being called a man. I hate women being called women. I just don't see the point. It just boxes us away, and I find it deeply irritating. Anyway, my last list, coming to my last list on this list, is it derives from ghastly shopping experiences. I'd like to have established curfews worldwide on all families with offspring under the age of 18 that plainly state that they are obliged by international parenting law to be at home as one and all together between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. So they won't be on the streets mugging you or me or doing any other shit that they're supposed to be doing, like smoking cannabis and all that kind of nonsense. The sad thing is that none of these 10 desires will ever come to